Hey everybody, I'm coming making this video message to have a conversation with you all about messy people. I have taken some time to really gather my thoughts on this topic and subject. Now, let me tell you guys a couple of things before I get into this topic. The first thing I want to tell you guys is that now in 2023, people are removing the original definition of a particular word and replacing it with a new definition. We see a lot of that in 2023. And because we are definitely not under having freedom of speech, when you are on certain platforms, a lot of platforms will block you out. They will shadow ban you and restrict your account and do various different things when you make mention of certain words. And so you all know that a lot of people are replacing words for what a particular person, place, or thing really is, and they're inserting another word. So, for instance, we don't say kill anymore. People are saying delete or unalive. Instead of making reference to a woman's private part, instead of calling it the actual V word, you all know what I'm talking about, they are saying Virginia. Those are just a couple of examples as to how people are removing the original definition of a person, place, or thing, or of a situation, and they're inserting something else to mean something else. If you guys catch my drift. So I said all that to say, you all know what the definition of messy is. You already know messy is untidy, disorganized, or unorganized, Slavic or slovenly, dirty. That is what the definition of messy is, or of a situation. So when you hear somebody say messy, typically people take it to somebody or something, like an area or a location being unorganized, untidy, dirty, Slavic, or it looks to be slovenly. Somebody may dress messy, and you may say, oh, they dress slovenly today. So now the word messy is used pertaining to a person having a certain characteristic. And the characteristic I'm referring to is when someone is basically a troublemaker, or they are a trouble starter. They start and stir up trouble. They start and stir up confusion. They bring bones to other people. They cause division. They evoke certain emotions, negative emotions in people when they begin to be messy. Some of you right now, you may have a family member who is extremely messy. You may have a friend or a close acquaintance or an associate who is very messy. You may have a child that are in their adolescent or teenage years, or they can be a young adult, and they are messy. You may know someone in your church who is messy. You may know someone in the workplace who is messy. You may battle or struggle with being messy. I want you all to understand the severity of what you are stirring up, starting, or causing to be lost or broken up or mistreated when you are operating in the spirit of being a messy person. I want you all to also understand and be very aware of the fact that some messy people don't really know or think they are messy. When you talk to a messy person, if you are courageous enough or bold enough to confront someone who is messy, and you bring to them certain things they are doing or saying, or information that they are uncovering or revealing when they ought not to be uncovering or revealing, they sometimes will not even be aware that they are this type of person, or surprisingly, certain messy people will actually feel justified in being messy, and they don't care about it. Some people who are messy, they will do things like, let's just set the scene. Let's just say there is an elder in your family, and the elder knows who is sleeping with who. They know who lost their job. They know who is pregnant or who got rid of the pregnancy. They know who got put out of their house. They know who flunked out of school. They know who is failing or not doing that great as a mother or as a father. And although within the family dynamic, when certain things are coming out about your fellow family members, and certain things are being discovered about cousins, about aunties, about siblings, about uncles, about grandchildren, okay, or great grandchildren, and nieces and nephews, that should be kept within the family. But what some messy elders or people in the family dynamic, period, will do is they will get on the phone, they will go to their job, they will hang out with their friends, or they will open up a dialogue with someone they're sleeping with or dating, and they will begin to repeat and reveal the personal problems, traumas, issues, and even drama within the family to all of these other outside people. They don't have any thought or regard, consideration, or concern about how people in the family would feel once they find out that their personal business has been spread by that particular elder. There are also certain friends. They will have dirt on you. You share some particular level of dirt because you are comfortable with your friend, you trust them, you love them. So nothing is off limits for you to discuss certain matters with them. And let's just say you share with your friend that you're having an affair. You could be male or female. Let's say you share with your friend you got fired from your job. Let's say you share with your friend that you have $3 in your bank account and you have an eviction notice posted on your door and you don't know how you're going to make it. That friend may go to their family members or their other friends or other people that you all share in common, and they will begin to repeat and reveal things you shared with them confidential, that were confidential. They will begin to release that information. You may have bumped heads with that friend, and they will call people up. Your friend may even tell their mother and father or siblings all of your dirty secrets. This is what some messy people do. Now, it is a given. Let me throw this out here before I continue. It is a given that all of us, we share people that or we interact with people that we have general conversations with. And sometimes in general private conversations, we will make reference to a certain friend and their situation, or a boyfriend or a girlfriend that you may be dating, and innocently, it's not malicious, innocently you will bring up their name, or something will come up, or you might be looking at TV with a family member or somebody, and something comes up on a show or a movie and it reminds you of that particular person. And you'll say, oh, you know what? So and so, that happened to her. So I am not referring to situations like this. I am referring to people who their entire life, their entire existence is being a messy person. Messy people will cause couples to break up that are dating. Messy people will cause couples to break up that are married. Messy people will cause people who have the potential of getting together and developing a beautiful relationship to depart from each other and no longer be interested. Messy people will cause people to turn against the very people they're talking about. Messy people will start fights with other people. Messy people will have stumbling blocks put in front of people because they're on their way and about to get catapulted to another higher level in their life, however that looks for them. And a messy person will sense that, they will see it, or that person will share that with them. And they will go to someone connected to that person who is on their way to the top. And they may say, hey, so and so said this about you. It could have been something that they said 3 or 4 years ago, or 3 or 4 months ago. But now that that messy person sees that that person is no longer gossiping with them, they see that now that person is no longer paying them attention, and they have removed themselves from being in messy situations. They will bring up something old, something that is no longer current or is forgotten about, and they will tell a certain person or people what that person said a long time ago. It may be relevant, it may be current, but the point is the messy person is repeating it to certain key people, and they don't care about what the outcome will be. Messy people comfortably slander people, talk about people, tell people secrets, tell people confidential business. Messy people tell people personal, embarrassing business to whoever is willing to listen to them or whoever they are close with. Messy people don't care anything about friendships that have ended from them being messy. They don't care anything about certain beautiful couples breaking up. Messy people do not care about children going against their mother or father after they were told by the messy person certain things about the mother or father. Let me give you all an example. There may be some of you who have children. Your children are teenagers or your children are older. And if it's a grandmother or a grandfather, it could be a aunt or uncle or a brother or sister. Messy people will tell your children, you know what? You need to cut your mother off. Your mother made a mistake and didn't do this as far as her parenting goes, you need to get away from her. You need to stop talking to her. You need to cut her off. And we all know it's no secret when children have a relationship with their grandparents or with aunts and uncles, depending on how close they are to them, they put stock into what that grandparent or auntie or uncle tells them. They're not going to question it. They're not going to ask why that grandparent is saying what they're saying to them. They'll just say, okay, my grandma told me to do this. My grandma told me to do that. So I'm going to listen. Yes, some people are messy at this level. And so, what I'm telling you all, I've put out enough examples. What I'm telling you all is that when it comes to a messy person, and you know someone is messy, and you see that they are disturbing the relationships with various people, you see that fights are breaking out. You see that arguments are breaking out. You see that confusion is coming about in your household or within your friendships or when you are around certain people, when you go to certain places. You really, really need to confront that messy person. You need to be very bold and come to that messy person in love, not aggressively, and you need to put a stop or attempt in a loving, respectful manner to put a stop to that messy person. Things like this are not brought to the forefront. They are not talked about. And sometimes with a messy person, although they may be right about their perspective or their views about certain things, or they may feel a certain type of way about a person or a situation, they will sometimes feel like it is their duty to go and tell other people or someone else what they know, what they saw, what they think, what they feel, what they heard, and what they feel needs to be done. But they don't understand that depending on who they go and talk to spread things around or to uncover, like I said, or reveal, they don't even understand that where they feel justified and comfortable going to people to be messy, they don't understand that those people may very well cut off, walk away, or reject the person that the messy person is repeating things about. I have a situation that is going on now where there is a far off, like extended family member. They're from the past, but they have gone to my children and made certain statements to them, and it'll make my children view me in a certain light, not a positive light, but in a negative light. Because you all have to understand, if you raised your children a certain way or you had certain hardships or battles, the next man or the next woman, if they didn't handle a particular hardship the way you handle it, they will label you as a bad parent. I'm gonna just be honest. Let's just say, as a parent, you went through a time in your life where your lights got cut off or your heat got cut off. You were at a crossroad where you had to make a very tough decision. Okay, do I pay my light bill or my gas bill? Because if I pay my light and gas bill, I'm not going to have enough money to put gas in my car. I'm not going to have enough money to pay my phone bill. I need my phone on. That is what I'm talking about. Just to put that out there. Because I don't know what all of you all are going through. I don't know if you may be guilty of being a messy person. But what I'm telling you is that a messy person, when you investigate them or when you watch them, Usually, a very messy person has some level of anger, hurt, brokenness, and bitterness inside of them. And because of these facts, they have no thought or regard going to spread the business or make suggestions to other people about other people that they have come across or had some type of an experience with. They don't care about starting something. They don't care about if you fall out with your children after they've told your children something. They don't care anything about that. Messy people sometimes they don't even understand that they are a controlling person, and so they can control a narrative. If they're the grandparent, like I said, or aunt or uncle, or they're in a position where they are in a position of authority within a family, okay, they know that they can have a certain amount of control when they go to your child or your children and put an idea in their head about you as a mother or as a father. And messy people, their name is always coming up in something. For those of you who are not able to recognize a messy person name comes up in a lot of situations. You can innocently go to an engagement or a gathering and somebody is talking about one thing and then somebody else mentions a particular person name. And when that name comes up, you will see other people at that gathering have a certain negative reaction. And they will start sharing stories like, but so and so told me the same thing too. So and so texted me that. So and so called me and said this or did this. And that is when you begin to find out someone within your family, within your friendships, somebody within the church setting, somebody at work, or just someone that you look at as a close acquaintance or associate is a messy person. Today, before I end the video message, I want to let you all know that the company you keep and the people that you allow to operate a certain way in your life could possibly be dangerous and start to affect you and your relationships with other people. Everything is not meant to be revealed. Everything is not to be talked about. Everything is not to be uncovered. And sometimes things can be told to someone at the wrong time. Not that it's a secret, but whatever the situation is, it is not time for certain people to know certain things. And so if you look around in your friendships now or in your family, if there is tension there, if there are a lot of arguments breaking out, if there are a lot of fights breaking out, you now have to look around and say, why is this happening? It's not always because of it being the enemy. It's not always because of somebody feeling some type of way about you. It could simply be because it's one person who is being messy. They are the troublemaker in the family. They are the troublemaker in the friendship. They are the troublemaker in the relationship. But it's your job. If you have someone connected to you in love, you need to confront them about being messy. Now, this video is different because people don't talk about this. But it is crucial that you all take heed and adhere to this, because when certain messy people get involved in certain things and they're going around calling people on the phone and text messaging them and they're emailing different people and they are repeating certain things and things start to kick off and relationships are getting damaged and people are fighting, sometimes because of one person being messy, it has caused certain people to get physically hurt or their life to be taken from them. And so I'm going to expose this and I'm going to talk about this because some messy people, they feel justified in being this way. They feel justified in running off at their mouth and repeating things to other people. Sometimes a messy person can talk to one person and that person is passing their opinion about how they feel about somebody. And that person will then go to the one that the messy person was talking about and repeat to them everything that was said. And if that person happens to be a very emotionally weak person or a mentally weak person, you don't really know how they're going to react off of the information that was given to them. And this is why within certain relationships and friendships and families, there is a lot of tension. There is a lot of hate. There is a lot of anger. There is a lot of division. There is no unity. Confront messy people. Remove yourself from messy people. If you are messy in this sense that I described, you really need to check yourself and you really need to change. Stop getting on the phone to repeat stuff to other people. Everything is not meant to be told. Everything is not meant to be revealed. Sometimes when somebody is telling you something or passing their opinion, you need to leave it there. It's not your job, it's not your duty to get on the phone and further that by going to the person, telling them what the messy person told you, because now you're labeled as messy. You're looked at as the troublemaker. You're looked at as the one that is causing confusion. And a lot of messy people, they want control over people. They want people dancing to their tune. They don't want to see other people happy. They don't want that couple to be happy and grow and flourish. They don't want the relationships with a mother and her children or a father and his children to grow. They can see little things cracking and seeping out. Maybe a couple is having some trouble in their marriage, but a messy person, if they like the husband more or they like the wife more, they may go to one of them and repeat what the other spouse said. And it keeps that person that they reveal certain things to that the spouse said, it keeps them in a state of anger. It keeps them in a state of confusion to where they are not even thinking of reconciliation with their spouse. This is what messy people do. Messy people are bitter. They are angry. They are broken. They are full of wrath. They don't have a lot of happiness in their life. Their life is not fulfilled. Don't laugh at anybody that is messy. We talked about an incident that just took place here in Chicago with a woman and her 14-year-old son. And according to a lot of people, witnesses, the girlfriend or the ex-girlfriend that was recording was egging him on, being messy, being a mess starter, being a troublemaker, and we already know how it ended. How many more situations in certain people's lives have things like this happen? How many of you can replay in your head right now or currently certain things that are going on in your circle of friends or with your husband or wife or with you and your children? Why are your children acting funny towards you? Why are your children not coming around? There are various reasons, but let's stick to the topic. If a messy person told your child something pertaining to you as the type of mother you are or the type of father you are, and if your children or your child respects that grandparent, sometimes they have a closer bond with them than you. If that's your story, I'm not saying that's my story, but if that's your story, then your child or your children may take it and run with what that grandparent or that auntie or that uncle or that cousin told them. and now you don't have a relationship with your children, or if you do, it's not at the level it should be. Pay attention to this stuff, guys. It's real. It's real. And I'm going to keep bringing this stuff to the forefront. I don't care who feels what about it. That's the video message. Well, guys, it's time for me to go because I have some other things to do. The Lord willing, I will be back with another video message. If any one of you have been offended by anything I spoke about in this video message, it's okay. It's all right. I'm not concerned. I am not worried about it because I know you will forgive me in the morning.